All right, pimpin', today we are doing it. We are bringing the sauce. The iPhone 13 Pro versus the Sony Zv1. We checking the image quality, skin tone, low light, and audio. Don't forget stabilization, pimp, because we need that too. Which one you choosing? All right, pimpin', we are hopping right into the vlog. The Sony Zv1 versus the iPhone 13 Pro. Quick side notes are, we will only be shooting in 4K 30, but the iPhone can shoot in 4K 60. And also on the Sony Zv1, I am using active stabilization, but I'm also using the Ulanzi wide angle lens because it's just boss. Like, it is good. Another thing to note is that I am using a selfie stick for the Sony Zv1, and with the iPhone, I am using a Joby Gorilla Pod, which, I mean, it gives me a little bit of reach, but not as much as the selfie stick, but it's plenty. On the iPhone 13 Pro, I will only be using the wide angle lens. I will not be using the ultra wide, just because, pimpin', the last time I used the ultra wide lens for a vlog, people were upset in the comments. Everybody was all butthurt over, ooh, why you use the wide angle lens? So we are only gonna use the wide angle lens just because it offers the best quality for the iPhone. And now a couple of things to know about the Sony Zv1 and the iPhone is the price. That might play a huge role in your production. The Sony Zv1 is about 2 years old and is about $700 to $800, but you can get it on sale. I copped it at like $500, which lucky. But I have seen a lot of other sales going for 600 bucks, you know, 650. And now the iPhone, on the other hand, will set you back some racks depending on the size of memory that you have. But yeah, I think with the 256 gig version, I think it cost me maybe like $1,700 or $1,600, something like that. But yeah, it's gonna cost some racks, so you need to make sure you got the bag. But with that said though, pimp, the iPhone 13 Pro is pretty solid. Battery life is amazing. Workflow for pulling footage is like outstanding, and the build quality is solid. And then some pros for the Sony Zv1 happen to be that you can remove the batteries and the storage. But on the downside of that though, the battery life sucks. Like, it is, like, you gotta buy like 20 of them. Okay, you don't need 20. I would say maybe 4 and you will be good. Like, you Gucci with 4. And also, the Sony Zv1 has great build quality as well. It does not feel cheap by any means. It is a solid camera. All right, now pimpin', if I'm being real, I would use the iPhone 13 Pro like in a heartbeat, like every day, all day. But it has two main problems, and pimpin', this is just to me. The first one has to be that it has like my entire life on it. So if I lose it or someone happens to just snatch it up because I'm not looking, I'm shooting B-roll like a boss, then like I'm screwed. Versus like the Sony Zv1, if someone picks it up, you know, like it's not a big deal at all. Yeah, I would have lost the memory card and the footage and a wide angle lens, but for the most part, it's not a lot, you know, it's not a lot in cost, and it's definitely not a lot when it comes to personal use and value. The problem that I do face with the iPhone 13 Pro is the digital sharpening that you kind of have no control over. Like, to be real, it is just way too sharp and it's really hard to fix in post. The only thing that I could think of like that can fix it is like a glow mist filter or something like that. I mean, without it, it is just way too sharp for my personal taste. It's fine for social media and all that other stuff, but it is just, for my personal like look, I cannot stand digital sharpening. And then, funny enough, it is not the same with the iPhone 10. And now, pimp, quick side note, look at these two and tell me which one you like better. This is the iPhone 13 Pro, and now let's switch it to old iPhone 10. Now, pimping, like, come on. Like, I ran this test the other day just to, like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was just recording on my iPhone 10 and I compared it to my iPhone 13 Pro, And I was like, what is up with the skin tones, my G? Like, what are they doing? Like, if I'm being real, it's mainly the skin tones and like maybe a little bit of the coloring, but the iPhone 10 just kills it with the skin tones as well as the digital sharpness. It's not cranked up to the max. I don't know why they did that with the iPhone 13 Pro, and I think the iPhone 12 had the same issue. Like, it was legit a big problem that I kept reading about in forums, and they just keep doing it. Don't know why. And now, pimpin', again, this is just me. Like, this is just a personal problem that I just like these, like sometimes the skin tones are just terrible, man. But it does produce a really good image. It's just way too sharp. But pimpin', anyway, let's move on because we gotta do a quick audio check. So, quick audio test. This is the audio from the Sony Zv1, and then this is the audio from the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, I will say that the wind is picking up a bit, so yeah, I mean, I apologize if you cannot hear me. But yeah, this is the audio from the iPhone 13 Pro, and then this is the audio from the Sony Zv1. Now, how are we sounding? How are we looking? Like, let's do a quick drip check. Like, come on, let's see how we looking. I think we're looking okay. I mean, you can't really check on the iPhone, but I trust it. I think it's fine. So how are we looking? How are we sounding? What do you guys think? All right, so we might have to hurry up because I think it's about to rain. Oh man, we might have to duck in a tunnel real quick because yeah, here comes the rain. It's already raining. Oh man, I knew I should have brought my rain boots. Like, something told me, like, don't let the sun fool you, Sky Money. Bring your rain boots. I was like, nah, it's fine. It's fine. But nope. Ah, dang it. Well, since it's about to start raining, you know what we should do? We should go ahead and just hop into the... All right, stabilization test. How we looking, pimp? Which one are you liking better? Now, hopefully I don't slip and fall because it's like really wet. Water's getting in my eyeballs too. How we looking? I'm just holding them straight out in front of me. iPhone 13 Pro, Sony Zv1. How we looking? How's it looking? All right, now hopping on the iPhone, how was the stabilization test? Which one did better? I would actually think that the iPhone might do better just because it is newer technology. Sony does have their active stabilization, which isn't terrible. Plus, they have catalyst browse. I think the iPhone may have won that, but I could be totally wrong. I'll put like a text at the bottom if I was wrong. All right, now really quick, let's do a quick skin tone check. How are we looking? Sony Zv1, how are we looking on the skin tones? And I mean, I can see it. It actually looks really good. And then the iPhone, I cannot see it. I mean, unless I go like that. But yeah, cannot really see the iPhone. How are we looking on the iPhone? Now, it should look decent on the iPhone just because it's pretty dark. And I noticed the iPhone actually does like a decent job with the skin tones in like a weird way depending on the lighting. If it's well lit, the iPhone's gonna do a terrible job exposing the skin tones. Like, if I saw Matty Hapoya switch from his regular camera to the iPhone in a well lit in his studio and pimp.
2.8 like this bad boy right here. You definitely don't need an extension arm. This is the Sony lens, which I've been playing around with again. It is a very compact.
And guys, that's what happens every time the sun shines on my face. Like, it's just too much, man. It is terrible. But again, how are we looking in this situation? Because again, the sun's not out anymore. And the iPhone does a great job exposing the skin in this kind of condition. So how are we looking with the skin tones? Alright, so now the iPhone is definitely getting brownie points. I mean, thug points. Brownies. What are we talking about, brownies? Anyway, the iPhone definitely gets thug points just because it is raining and the iPhone is waterproof while the Sony Zv1 is not waterproof. All right, a little bit of a low light tunnel test. How are we looking on the Sony Zv1? Now, the Sony Zv1 is underexposed because I forgot that I have the indie film. You know what, hold on. right, there we go, pimping, much better. The Sony Zv1 has an ND filter built inside. So that is huge thug points for the Sony Zv1. Yeah, I mean, iPhone, yeah, you gotta buy it and all that other stuff. But yeah, Sony Zv1, thug point. But oh yeah, but how are we looking? How are we looking in like low light, tunnel light? How are we looking? And I'm curious to see how the skin tones are gonna look as I get closer to the bright light of exiting the tunnel. How is that on the iPhone? Sony Zv1 is actually pretty good. The iPhone, I don't know. So it's finally getting pretty dark, and the only test we have left to do is like my favorite test, and that is the Okay, quick walking and vlogging test. How are we looking? Both cameras 4K 30 and rear facing screen on the iPhone and active stabilization on the Sony Zv1 as well as regular picture profile. How are we looking on both cameras? Ah, man, it feels good to be out. I mean, and not for nothing. Looking at the B-roll shots, the iPhone is pulling through, like for real. And like the iPhone, the colors look pretty good, as well as like the white balance. The iPhone does a really good job of the auto white balancing. Only problem, like pimping, I'm pimping. Like I'm telling you, the only problem with the iPhone's cameras, it's just the simple fact that it's just digitizing too much. Like it's just trying too hard. That's it, pimping. Like if it just kind of calmed down, take a step back, chill out, and just calm down, pimp, and you Gucci. Extremely cold outside. Wow, it's cold. Like it got cold quick. Kind of have a feeling of which camera is gonna do it better, and I'm just gonna call it. I think I'm just gonna be the Sony Zv1, just from like doing the B-roll comparison side by side. Yeah, you can see a bunch of noise in the iPhone footage, as well as when it's so heavily digitally sharpened, it doesn't help. You know, like you can really notice like the noise is sharpened too, and that's not a good look, pimp. Like it's just not. Yeah, I think we gotta call it quits because it is like freaking freezing and it's so windy. Like I'm holding the cameras with my hand to get these B-roll. I'm not sitting them down and it's just blowing like crazy. So yeah, I think we have to call it quits. But anyway, what do you guys think of the footage? Which one you think did it better? The iPhone 13 Pro or the Sony Zv1? Again, yeah, just from looking at some of the footage from earlier, looking at the night stuff that I'm shooting now, I would have to call it for the Sony Zv1, but that's kind of expected because bigger sensor, and it's just, it only has one thing to focus on, and that's fine. I mean, whatever floats your boat, pimping. I ain't a hater. So, but overall, yeah, I'm gonna have to call it for the Sony Zv1. But that's it, pimp. Let me know what you guys think below. Like them comments up, and I will see you in the next one, cause My hands are freezing. I'm out this piece. Oh man, I thought I was a thug. That guy literally just grabbed the basket and just walked straight out of the store, and then put the basket to the side, took the groceries and walked home. That's crazy.